going on, guys? Today, we're going to do something a little different. Now, many of you may know me as the investor bro, the scalper bro, the money machine go burr bro. We're doing something a little bit different today because, underneath this cold hard calculated visage of an evil man, there is a guy who loves art. And I've been wanting to do a sorcery series for a while, and I wasn't sure exactly how to put one together. And today I've finally decided how I'm going to do it. And we are going to review the art of every single Sorcery the Contested Realm card there is. And we're going to start with Alpha. And then, obviously, if you guys know anything, there's Alpha, Beta, and there's really only a few changes as far as like the Frank Frazetta art and a few things. But we're going to go alphabetical order through each set. So we'll do Alpha. We'll then hit the changed cards in Beta. And then obviously we'll go to Arthurian Legends. And it'll Gothic will 1000% be out. Because if you do the math, and even if I do a video every day, it would take me about a year or two, right, to get through all these cards, which maybe I do a video every day. I don't know. It just depends on how I feel. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this. Again, we're going to be starting today with Abundance. I'm not going to do like huge deep dives in on the artists. We'll kind of unravel the artists as we go through their work. But I'm super excited. Let me guys know what you think of the series. And with that kind of introduction out of the way, let's kind of get started, shall we? Now, let me guys also just kind of tell you, I'm using a few tools. Obviously, we've got the Curiosa.io. I'd really recommend it. It's a good way to kind of just see every card. There is also Collector Art House. I would check out his website. If you know him, he's, what is his name? Mike, I want to say. I could be wrong. Awesome guy, dude. I've been watching you since the very beginning. Great work. But let's get into it, shall we? Also, the thing I really like about the Curiosa.io, and I'll tell you this right now, guys, I'm not going to get a ton into like the actual game mechanics of the art. I will a little bit if it has to do with the art, like if the game mechanic is kind of tied in with the art itself. But I'm not going to actually kind of talk about how good is because I'll be honest, I don't play a lot, right? I'm more of like an art guy. But the amazing thing about Curiosa.io is it can actually tell you information about if you have questions about how the card plays, which I think is super awesome. And it tells you what printings it's in and kind of how it looks. And I don't know if you can tell. No, I think it's about the same. But I do think that that's kind of cool that it shows you what it's printed in and what the card looks like. But out of the way, let's go to this because I think this is kind of a better picture to look at. Now, how am I going to review the art? Well, let's start with, again, I don't want to give you a huge deep dive into who is Vincent Pompetii. As we can see, that he is the artist here at the bottom. But I want to give you just a very simple background. And that's this. Vincent Pompetii is an Italian artist born in Liège, Belgium. Wait. What do I know? Originally from Pineto and Arti in the Abruzzo region of Italy. He's Italian, right? From what Pompetii, like he's Italian guy, right? He graduated from St. Luke Institutes of Fine Arts in 1998 with a specialization in graphic novels. Now, I'm not going to look this place up, but I'm just going to assume from what I'm looked at in this guy that he was either raised Catholic or Christian, or especially being in Italy, you're going to have a lot of like Catholicism and that heavily influencing you growing up, I assume. So let's go back to the art now, shall we? Now, the title, Abundance, an elite aura of milk and honey. Each affected site provides one additional mana. Now, what do I think about the card? What is this card? So, if you don't know what this is, from what I've gathered, this is like a pair, right? Like so milk and honey, if you don't know, essentially what we're looking at here is this is like the promised land, right? So what this looks like is, obviously in the book of Exodus throughout the Old Testament, God promises Moses that the Israelites flowing with milk and honey, a place of like, so this is like they're wandering the desert. This is all this is all biblical stuff, basically. This is like the land, this is Utopia once they've escaped Egypt, So that's essentially, we're depicting, now again, I don't know if this is the exact, his representation of it, but it's essentially like a picture of them escaping. You obviously have the winged. I assume this. I can't tell if this is like an ox, a goat, but it's also basically a symbol. It's a religious symbol. You have what's called like the tetramorph, which is like there's like four animals. The winged oxes. It's very religious. Obviously, and the milk refers to fertility. We have a pregnant woman. Birds of paradise. So obviously it's very religious. You can tell by the pill, like they are in a desert, right? But it is an abundant desert. So I like this painting a lot. Obviously there's a lot in this photo, right? Just like looking at this. Also, kind of a thing I really do like. Again, I like when the effect really plays into the card, right? So if you know anything about mana, mana is from that's what they got. So again, this is another like biblical reference. Again, I don't know Vincent Pompetii. I could probably do a little bit more research, but I would assume he came. And again, I don't know if he's still, but I assume he comes from a very like religious background. Or again, you're in Italy, you're in Rome. It's like the stomping grounds of Catholicism. The supernatural God food provided daily for this during the 40 years through the wilderness. So again, this is a very it's a very fitting, and it's funny too because like you just look at this card and you'd be like, oh, it's some lady, but it's funny just and that's why we like looking at art, right? Is because without any sort of inference, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's like a lady. Maybe she's like Egyptian, or she like, again, I don't know if this is an actual wing. I assume though that it's making some sort of reference to the tetramorph. But yeah, so that's what do you guys think of abundance? Also, I don't. Again, I'm not a. The least amount of information to get from me as far as valid information is like what kind of like art style. I assume this is like a watercolor, right? I really like the shading of this, like these oranges here, this kind of like flow of the sunset into like the purple. This figure, it's very. I can't tell. I assume this is an actual guy. That this isn't a statue. But I can't tell if this is a statue or an actual guy. But I assume this is her like part, like this is like husband and wife or something. But it is interesting. I can't tell if this is his hat, and you can't really zoom in on this. I have a card, probably, but I do. I find this. It's very. Also, for some reason, I need to find like a full version. I couldn't find a picture online without the text here, but I don't think there's much more here than just that is a rule. So if you don't know, on sorcery cards on the foil versions, you can see the entire card without the art. Let's see, open in full screen. Does that allow us to? Yeah, there we go. It almost looks like a Buddha statue, but I know it's not. But I assume that's a guy, not a statue. But I really love the. Also, if you notice, the card kind of flows here. So you have like really dark and then really light. So it kind of like flows from dark to light. But yeah. So that's the first card. Again, nothing too crazy, right? I'm just going to give you, I like it. Maybe a little too green. Right? Maybe that's my only complaint. Maybe. But again, it's supposed to be the garden, right? So it makes sense. I will say I can't tell if this is like a chair. I don't know. Maybe like is this maybe this could have been done a little bit better. But like this whole top part is like 10 out of 10 for me. It gets a little sloppy in here with the I just don't like this brown. I don't like this. And this I don't like this. But other than you can't really tell, but it's like if I could just cover the bottom half of this card. I do like his work a lot. Oh, yeah, see this is all his stuff. So as you can see, in fact, if we look here, I won't spoil it too much, but this is the next card we're going to be looking at. It's going to be another Vincent Pompetii card. A Cursed Albatross. And then, like I said, we're just going to go down the line. And it's just like such an amazing, like, again, even the evil investor in me has to just stop and be like, my goodness, just look at how amazing this art is. And as you can see, we're gonna have a lot of art to go and discuss. Some ones we might be able to kind of group together because it's like, am I really gonna be able to talk 20 minutes about a frog? I don't know. We'll find out. But then there's other ones like this where it's like, oh, bro, like, I can't wait to talk about this guy. I've got a few of his alpha foil card. Like, oh my goodness, that art style's nuts. But yeah, that's really all I had, guys. I'm super excited for this series. Wait, this is beta. Interesting. Hey, Curiosa.io, your list is wrong. This should be the Frank Frazetta for alpha. But whatever. That's all I got, guys. If you haven't heard of Sorcery, Gothic's coming out. Seriously, just go check out Sorcery. If you like if you're someone who loves Magic and you're like, man, I wish Magic still had good art, here you go. And it's honestly a phenomenal game. Super fun to play. Go check it out, guys. See you around.